Good day, fellow warriors! We are Group 4, and we are here to propose the possible heritage sites here in Masbate City. But first, let us have a brief history about this majestic city, which will be discussed by Ms. Gavarra.
Hi, my name is Gavarra. Before we proceed to our proposal, let me give you some brief history of Masbate City. Did you know that Masbate City is also known as Rodeo Capital of the Philippines? Masbate takes pride in its heritage by preserving ancient but exquisite structure and their distinct architecture. I will not prolong this anymore, so let's start with our first heritage site, which is the Boogie Point Lighthouse. Mr. De Jesus, the floor is yours.
Good morning everyone, my name is Marion John Paulo De Jesus, and today I'm gonna discuss to all of you the short history about the Boogie Point Lighthouse, or also known as the Aroroy Lighthouse. Boogie Point Lighthouse, it is a historic lighthouse located on a boogie point in the town of Aroroy. The lighthouse started to be constructed in 1893 but was stopped in 1896 with the onset of the Philippine Revolution. The Americans later on continued the construction of the entire structure of the lighthouse, and it was finally lit on December 1, 1902. It light the entrance to the channel between Burias Island and Masbate Island and the channel between Burias and Ticao Island, leading to San Bernardino Strait. So that's all. So our next reporter will be Miss Malicsi that will discuss the element of Boogie Point Lighthouse.
Good day everyone, I am Johanna Malicsi and I will discuss why we considered Boogie Point Lighthouse as one of the heritage sites in Masbate. One of the elements to be considered a heritage, it should have contribution to the Philippine history, and Boogie Point Lighthouse is among the 24 first-order lighthouse planned by Spain for the Philippines. A century-old lighthouse which was part of the group of lighthouses during the Spanish colonial period. It was considered a prime spot during the famed Manila-Acapulco galleon trade. And this lighthouse was the first to be identified as being of great significance considering its historical value. Now let's move forward to another possible heritage in Masbate. Miss Dogelio, the floor is yours.
Good day everyone, I am Therese Dogelio and I will discuss to you a short history about Hintotolo Island Lighthouse. Faro de Isla Hintotolo or Hintotolo Island Lighthouse is one of the 24 original first-order lighthouses erected by the Spanish government in the archipelago. It was built in 1895 and activated in the early 1900s. It was designed by Ramon de Ros and later on modified by Primitivo Luelmo. Hintotolo Lighthouse stands on a hill, the highest point of Hintotolo Island. The design of the lighthouse follows the traditional arrangement of living quarters, tower, service buildings, and courtyards. This lighthouse aims to guide ships traversing the Sibuyan Sea, Visayan Sea, and Hintotolo Channel. It guides very important shipping routes not only during the Spanish era but during the present time. Although the attached keeper's house is already in ruins, much of its original brick walls and foundations are still intact, and the lighthouse is still active. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Robis to discuss more about the Hintotolo Lighthouse.
Good day everyone, my name is Patricia May Robis and I will be discussing as to why Dogelio Lighthouse should be a heritage site. The National Cultural Heritage Act, also known as Republic Act No. 10066, is a Philippine law that mandated the establishment of Philippine Registry of Cultural Property and other measures to protect structures older than 50 years. The fact that Dogelio Lighthouse has stood for more than 50 years is evidence that it should be recognized as a cultural landmark worthy for preservation efforts. It's imperative that the Dogelio Lighthouse be recognized for its cultural and historical significance. Many of the original brick walls and foundations are still there and is still in use today, despite the fact that the connected keeper's house is already in ruins. And that is also one thing to consider while choosing to protect a historical landmark. And now let's turn our attention to Ms. Manzano to discuss the next possible heritage here in Masbate.
Good day everyone, I'm Manzano and I'm going to introduce to you the parish of St. Pascal Bailon Church. Did you know that it is one of the oldest churches in the Philippines? It was built to worship St. Pascal Bailon around 1571, same year as Intramural's San Agustin Church. Even though most of the original structure is coral, brick and stone of the church had gone, however the facade still remains. The locals in Burias attribute their safety to the intercessions of St. Pascal Bailon and their oral traditions, and due to the presence of Saint's image in the parish church, the pyrite staff. As a sign of gratitude, the town named after San Pascal devoted his life to the Holy Eucharist. And now let's hear from Ms. Gavarra to discuss the elements of St. Pascal Bailon Church.
Hi, my name is Gavarra and I'll discuss why we consider St. Pascal Bailon Church to be a heritage site in Masbate City. We discussed in our previous discussion that one element should be intact in a way to totally destroy or completely renovated. This church has no existing record of construction, meaning to say this church maintained their appearances even though many more years have already passed. The second reason why we need to consider this church to be preserved is that even though it is an old church, it still holds masses and it can be considered as adaptive reuse where it serves its own purpose. The third reason is that at the back of this church where we can see the ancient clothes of the priests that they wore way back before, and not just that, they also store their 3 old bells. Now we've come to an end of our proposal. We hope you have fun listening and learned something from us.
So guys, we are the group 4 that will leave a quote saying, "A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without a roots." Once again, I'm Marian John Paulo De Jesus is now signing off.